Would you like to support Cubs Out Loud? One way is to join us over on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, patrons get early access to our shows, the pre- and post-show, and various other rewards. You can learn more at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud. Thanks to all our patrons for their support in making this podcast. In this episode of Cubs Out Loud, it's time for another Let's Talk About Food. With summer in full swing, it's state fair time and the Cubs are hungry. In part one of a two-part series, the guys get their fill visiting America's Dairyland, Wisconsin. From beer cheese to funnel cakes, listen as the Cubs fill their mouth holes with delicious new dishes. Lick your lips and get a big bite as COL747 starts now. It's Sunday, July 21st, 2024. I'm Jeff.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
I'm Damon.
I don't brew the tea, I just serve it.
And that makes me Gary.
Everyone else is thinking it, and I just say it.
Welcome to Cubs Out Loud Bear Podcast of Indeterminate Length, episode number 747. We're like an airplane or something.
Oh, man. I just realized that. I was like, dang it. We could have done something silly with that.
Yeah.
But you know what they have sometimes on airplanes, especially like if you're in first class, it's even better.
Just eat it, eat it.
Food. Do you know what they don't have on those airplanes?
Bathrooms
Room.
for big boys.
Well, that's true. But fair food.
That's true. They don't have fair food. Also, the irony of you playing Al Yankovic when he just dropped his new Polka Mania song this weekend is wild to me. It's like the
Nice.
universe is collaborating. I don't know.
Well, here we are.
Yes. So we did this last year. We're returning to it, right? It's 2024. It's a new year. And since none of us have won the lottery with discretionary income to send all of us to the Wisconsin State Fair to try these foods in person, we're going to do it virtually, you know?
Oh, tasty.
And just think of it, like it's kind of like being on a diet. There's no calories, you know, we just get to look at the pictures. We learned from last year. Visuals are our friends. If you can't
Yeah.
see it, then you know what are you gonna? What a description is not good enough. It's a
Yeah.
it's a medium that you want to be able to see what you're gonna put in your hole. It's kind of like
Right.
porn, you know. So
That part. 100%.
yeah. The wild thing is that Wisconsin has over 100 new foods.
Yeah.
So I want to set the preface. We are not reviewing all 100 new foods because that would be like a 10-part series, and we're not doing that.
Hallelujah.
So we're going to do some of them. And these are kind of the unique items. And by that, I'm going to preface as the items that were selected are not necessarily seeming like things that we've done before.
Got it.
Like there was a bunch of things where I was like, oh, we kind of already talked about that, didn't we? Or it's like a slight modification or it's not a big deal. So, but when you go to our website, you will see links. You'll see links to the Wisconsin State Fair. You'll see links to each of these like described items. And there's a description, which is going to be on the blog, but it comes straight from their website. And also the lovely picture that they took of said food. So with that, if you are following along, I hope you have some snacks. Yes.
Did you surprise me in telling me that I have to insert images of each of these into the blog post?
No.
Okay, I misunderstood you then. Good, thank you.
That's okay. But you do know that like we're gonna allow people who are watching us to see the visuals, right?
Oh, that too, but I thought you meant it on anyways, never mind.
No.
I was
Like
afraid
you
you
could
were
just
gonna give me more work. I was gonna be
Wow.
a little upset.
Wow. Really? Really, producer? Anyways. That being said, so if we're ready, why don't we dive in to our selections and see what we think of them in this case.
Hey, let's do it.
All right. What's this
So
tasty little treat?
The very first thing that we have is called a beer, cheese, and brat spud muffin. I know,
Okay.
David. I know. Your face is lit. I knew I was going to get a reaction out of you. It says, with a nod to Wisconsin tradition, combine beer, cheese, and brats to create a fun take on a potato pancake, a spud muffin. The beer, cheese, and brat spud muffin features a cheesy hash brown mixture infused with beer, cheese, and bratwurst baked in a muffin pan to form this delicious snack.
It doesn't look like a muffin. It looks more like an English muffin. If you're trying to
Okay.
recognize it.
Right. Like I was myself, I was
Mhm.
confused. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's
I am so don't get me wrong. I appreciate the effort,
Oh,
but
snap.
I don't. It's just a hash brown casserole, right?
Yeah, but it's more handheldy.
right. Like here's the thing. I guess I want to ask this question. Would you eat it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, I'm not. But that's because I'm not a fan of bratwurst. That's a personal opinion.
That's fair. So this
Yeah.
is remember last year when we talked about this, I came it down to two criteria. Would you eat it? Would you buy it? And the would
Right.
you buy it was kind of the dividing line because sometimes one of us would be willing to buy it and then let someone else taste it because they weren't willing to spend the money on it. But
Right.
they were intrigued enough that they would actually have a bite or taste it.
Right. Right. So I mean, personally, I wouldn't eat it, but I would buy it for somebody if they wanted it. Like,
Aw,
well, like I feel like Jim would like this. Like,
okay.
this is a perfect example, I think, of something Jim would enjoy.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm
Um,
totally down for this. It is everything that my German ancestry heart is like totally buying into. I'm like beer, cheese, brat, potato. What more could I wish for? Like
Right.
so I'm like nom 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 nom. The idea of a handheld puck of that stuff combined together, I'm like that works for me. I do hear you though that this looks nothing like a muffin. I like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's
I don't understand how they did it in muffin pans. You know, especially with what the picture they turn out doesn't look anything like a muffin. And if you put it into a muffin pan, it would probably be a little more
so. It's
muffiny. Maybe
so
this
the
is the
main
muffin
thing with
top.
the
That doesn't make any sense though.
well, I think it could potentially be in a muffin pan, but it doesn't have anything to rise it, so it's gonna just stay in the
Right.
bottom of the pan.
But
So
they look very flat and round, where not very
yes,
cupcakey.
right.
Like that's the part that kind of threw me off a little bit. And I was like, you know what? You can call it a muffin all you want, but like I think you should have just like called it something
But
else.
unless these are actually smaller than I'm expecting, they're about this big or something like that.
Maybe.
Versus like this big.
I
Right.
don't
Like
think it would be that
Like
big.
an
I
inch
imagine them
difference.
to be about 3 to 4 inches across based on the image, but that's hard to
Yeah.
tell because we have no relational like objects to figure out how big it is.
Because honestly, what they have in the picture looks like a griddle.
Yes, what it's sitting on is a griddle. Like that's what it looks like.
Yeah. So instead of a muffin pan,
Yeah.
it's actually griddle cake, which is more
Mm.
along the lines of English muffin.
Yeah.
Which,
I don't know.
to be fair, that's perfectly fine. But I would
Yeah.
probably
Mm.
refer to it more as a griddle cake or something like that.
Right. Okay. So our next item up, a birria egg roll. This says a celebration of Hispanic background, particularly the chef's cherished Mexican heritage. This unique beef birria blends bold Mexican spices with a subtle Asian twist. then deep fried for a delicious crispy egg roll shell accompanied by a flavorful dipping consommé beef birria broth with a sprinkle of cilantro, onion, and limes on the side.
Yeah.
That's a guess
Yeah.
for you, David?
Yeah. I love egg rolls, like in general. And this kind of spin is I'm all for. It might be a little spicy, which I'm kind of okay with. If it's a little spicy, but not too spicy. And then, but the consomme I think sounds really good too. So I'm off. I will eat this and I will buy this.
What do you think, Joe?
Of course. As meat. And it's spicy.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. It's not technically that original.
No.
It's an egg roll. And I'm not trying to diminish that, but anything can be in a fucking egg roll these days.
But how many places put birria into an egg roll?
Correct. That's the part where I was like, oh, this is different. But
Yeah.
it's not that extravagantly wild as a new invention. But
Correct.
yes, if I was walking through the fair and I saw this, I'd probably be like, how much? How many do I get? like and it kind of looks like you get a couple, so I'd be like, oh, this is a splitting thing. Because like the concept of eating at the fair is about like tasting things. So I know I don't want to fill up on a particular thing. So yeah.
Right.
Well, I don't think these are too big looking at the dipping cup, because those things are like this big maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and if the egg roll is about this big, it's not that big, I don't think.
Yeah, I would not say that these are girthy boys. They're, reasonable.
I've moved ahead. Sorry, I've moved ahead.
Okay. Well, then let's do that. Because I also agree. I would buy it and I would also eat it. Next up is Burnt Ends Bonanza. And this one says, satisfy your hankering for some good old country fictions with the Burnt Ends Bonanza. This dish, I lost my cursor. This dish serves crisp and crackling burnt end pork butt on a bed of hearty tater tots. All this goodness is topped with Wisconsin beer cheese, chopped scallions, a drizzle of quote-unquote kickin' bourbon sauce, and a side of sour cream.
What's not to love?
I mean, first of all, you had me at tots.
Yep.
Tots is love for me. So, like, I heart tots. And
Yes.
I hearted tots before Glee made that a thing. So, like, yeah. I was like, oh, a pile of crispy tots with a bunch of stuff on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always have one of the ways to my heart is fatty foods with a bunch of starchy foods mixed in. Basically, if it's potatoes and meat, you probably have sold me.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is a fun little thing. I would probably like this would not be I would not eat this on my own. This would definitely be a shared, like, because it looks like a pretty decent portion, but this would be like a split, maybe 2 or 3. But it looks really good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Eat it, buy it. Put it in my mouth.
And especially with the Wisconsin beer cheese. Meat, cheese,
Exactly.
potatoes. You're just like check.
Yep.
Okay. So let's jump over to a beverage.
Okay.
This
Gotta
is
have something to watch
coffee.
then.
Right. This is coffee creme brulee milk tea. Right.
Okay.
It says,
Okay.
indulge in the creamy decadence of the coffee creme brulee milk tea. This drink blends the rich caramelized flavor of a creme brulee with the comforting taste of milk tea. Dive into a world of creamy sweetness and velvety smoothness with each tantalizing cup. Now, what they don't really continue on to explain is in the picture that they're showing, it's like boba. Like there's bubble pearls towards the bottom of the cup.
Right.
So I'm very intrigued. I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but I am kind of a sucker for a flavored coffee thing.
Okay. Like a coffee flavor or something.
Yeah, like, something that might have, that covers
Like
up the bitterness of coffee, I guess is what I'm saying.
Like a coffee ice cream.
Yes.
Right. Jeff?
I would not buy this.
Okay.
I would try it just to see what it's like. And maybe based off of that, I would buy it if it was really, really tasty or something. But I don't know. Just milk tea doesn't do it for me. The flavor of coffee creme brulee, sure. But milk tea, I think that's kind of if I was walking by and saw it and looked at it and was like, no, thank you. And I would just move on. Like, I don't really have it doesn't give me the urge to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It is available at Bubble Tea and Waffles. So that might be one of the reasons why.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think I would buy it. I would try it. I'm kind of feeling, Jeff, like I don't normally do bubble tea or milk tea. I haven't done it in the past. Not saying I am averse to it. I just have never really had a major opportunity or major like grab for doing that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The flavor combination sounds good. I don't know how I feel about coffee and creme brulee. That might be an interesting blend. And looking at this picture, it's hard for me to see like how blended it is.
Right.
So I'm uncertain. But yeah.
So what I'm hearing is I'll buy it, and then each of us will try it, and we'll see where that lands us if we care for it or not.
There we go. That's
Pretty
the
much.
idea.
Because it's very
I'm for the
experimental,
coffee
I
creme
think.
brulee. He's like,
Yeah.
but I'm for the flavor of creme brulee. It's the milk tea part, which I think is what's turn off for me.
Yeah.
Or the not turned on. I'm not going to say turned off.
Right.
It
Right.
just doesn't attract me.
Right.
That's fair. That's very fair. Okay, so with that being said, let's move into the Frankenstein area of the food fair, because they can't help themselves but do this kind of stuff.
What the fuck is this?
So this is called the Cool Ranch Doritos Pickle. And it goes on to explain, in this case, it says, bite into the Cool Ranch Doritos Pickle. This large dill pickle is spiral cut on a stick, rolled into crushed up Cool Ranch Doritos, and you guessed it, deep fried. Served up with ranch dressing for dipping, and you'll be set for a delicious day.
I'd get one.
So here's I think the make or break, if whether or not you like a dill pickle.
I like dill pickle.
Because if you don't like dill pickle, then this is a pass. But if you're okay, if you're okay to get down with dill, then like this you may be interested in. Damon?
I don't know, y'all.
Yeah, I don't like the sweet
have-
pickles, so I like the dill pickles. I mean,
See,
do you like? Here's the thing: have you ever tried just fried pickles?
Yes, I've had like pickle chips. Yeah, I've had
Okay.
like fried pickle. Yeah. So
This
I'm
is-
not like that's kind of yeah.
Yeah, just like fried chicken. You can fry chicken with chips. In this case, Doritos.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, I don't I think I would give it a try. I don't think I could eat this whole fucking thing though. That part. Because
I
for
would
me,
share mine.
pickle is a thanks. Yeah,
I'll buy
pickle
it.
is a
I'll break you off a small portion, and then I'll have the rest.
there you go. See, I'll have like give me like 3. like the top three, and then you can have the rest, and we're good. Like there we go.
It's spiral cut, so it's one long.
Well,
you know.
well, you know what I mean. Like
Say,
Yeah, you just have to
break off.
take a knife and cut it.
Yeah.
I'll
Anywho,
break it off.
I just, yeah, I would give this a try. I would give it a try. I don't know, because pickle, the flavor combination is reading very salty
hmm
to me, and that's where I kind of would be like, because if it got too salty, then I'd have to have something to drink, and yeah,
So I would definitely get this and try it. But I feel like this is an incomplete dish. I feel like I should be also sold as a combo, a Mountain Dew flavor and or Baja Blast slushy type concoction to go with it to like appease my gamer desires, to bring it all
Look.
home. Just saying.
right.
No. Come on, that's very stereotypical.
It may be very
Unless you are
stereotypical,
not a gamer,
but
so.
how dare you? Just because I don't stream on Twitch doesn't mean I don't play with a joystick. That's kind of offensive.
That's not the joystick that we're referring to.
Wow.
I
Moving on.
game very lightly. Anyways,
So we got 2 buys and a try.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So
moving
this
on.
might be a little bit more up your alley. We're gonna stay in the deep fried zone. How about deep fried lemonade bites?
This is
So it-
interesting. And I
Yeah,
would
so
totally. Oh yeah, these look delicious. But
So
they're
it's-
like donut fried, is what they're looking like.
Yeah, it says nothing is better than a refreshing ice cold lemonade break on a hot summer day. Take it up a fair notch. That's horrible. With a sip, quote unquote, of these deep fried lemonade bites made from Hawaiian sweet rolls, dipped in a French toast batter, a homemade lemon curd filling, deep fried to golden perfection, and tossed in a lemon sugar with a drizzling of icing.
See, that's where we go with this, because it is not lemonade. It is not deep fried lemonade. It is deep fried lemon curd. So, like that's like when you say lemonade, and I'm like, how the fuck are you deep frying lemonade?
You
And then I
freeze
look at the
it and you roll
picture.
it into a batter and you fry it.
But then it's water. It becomes water because it melts. But anyway, that's not beside the point. That's
So
not
what
what
I
this
hear
is.
is what I hear is Damon's gonna buy it and he's gonna eat it, but he's gonna critique the business the entire time while he's there doing it and be like, "Y'all need to rename this.
Yes.
It
It's
is
not
a
lemonade,
lemonade curd.
It's
not
lemon.
a lemon
It's lemon
curd.
curd."
It's not a lemon curd. It's a lemonade curd.
Okay.
Anyways,
Sure.
I applaud this effort. I'm like
I do too.
Hawaiian sweet rolls, check.
Mhm.
They're already a sweet bread, and then French toast batter, check. Homemade lemonade curd filling, that's like a double check because if it's really homemade and not processed or whatever, and then deep fried to golden perfection. Oh, and then we're gonna toss it in lemon sugar and add a drizzle of icing. Like, okay, great. It's a good thing I'm on a diabetes medication already. So
Right. And again, it's like looking at the picture. I would eat this. I know I would. The idea behind it is sound. I'm just not a fan of the name. That's just me personally.
right. No, I think that's fair. No pun intended. As far as it goes, I'm like, yes, this is definitely a dessert thing that I would probably get when I'm at the fair.
Right.
Now, I would probably buy it and then I would taste it. And then at that moment, I would decide whether or not I'm going to share this with anybody. Because if it's that damn good, like y'all on your fucking own. Like I am not like going to be.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll buy
passing
my
this
own
around.
portion.
Yeah. Like I could see. Yeah, this would be something I would share, like with Jim, because I know Jim likes lemon stuff. So that would be an easy shareable thing.
It's like you guys
So I
have been
don't
together for over 20 years or something.
I don't know, something like that.
All right, so let's swing back to the dill pickle craze thing. In case you can't tell, that's kind of one of the flavors of the year, I think, at the fairs. We have the dill pickle poutine. So, are you crazy about pickles? Get ready for the dill pickle poutine. These crispy cut French fries are topped with a handful of Wisconsin cheese curds, loaded with dill pickle chips, and smothered in a homemade creamy dill sauce. This item is inspired to provide a gluten-free alternative to pickle lovers.
Huh. Huh. Hmm.
It's a yes for me because there's nothing about this I don't dislike.
I'll say this. It's a yes for me. But I'm gonna be the one that critiques this. That's not poutine.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
It's not poutine.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean,
Yeah.
they got the fries, they got the cheese curds,
Mm-hmm.
but the sauce, while appropriate, I think, for the dish, is not brown gravy. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not poutine.
It's pickles and fries and cheese curds.
Right.
So it's more of about the language, not about what it is, because it looks delicious. So if they just called it dill pickle fries, I would be perfectly happy. Or loaded dill pickle fries or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I hear you on that front. I feel like the upside is they're kind of playing on the whole poutine rate, like craze or craze. I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So, like, I agree. Like, there's a part of me that's wondering how you could have made the gravy. I'm like, well, maybe if you did it with a vegetable stock and put dill in it, and then you figured out like. But I agree. Like, the picture is part of the problem, I think, also because it looks like it's a squeeze bottle of cream dill sauce that they just, they just kind of drizzle over the top, and so it's not really coming across as a gravy.
And I get why they went with the sauce as opposed to the gravy because it's supposed to be gluten free, and gravy usually has flour in it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's ways to get around it, but yeah, I think they're kind of focusing on the common palate as opposed to like trying to make something specific for those that are.
Yeah. It's a no for me. By the way, I'm not that crazy about pickles.
Okay.
I like pickles, but that looking at that picture, I was like, that's too much. That's too
much.
Pickle
forward.
Yeah. Pickle with a side of fries. No.
Love pickles.
And I like pickles. I just don't like a lot of pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's very fair. All right. So we're going to step away from pickles. And the next thing I'm intrigued by this, I don't know if this is necessarily original conceptually, but elote corn ribs. So it says, take the Midwest staple of corn on the cob, but add a little spice. The elote corn ribs are made from corn on the cob, with the cob acting as the bone of the corn rib, tossed in hickory smoked batter and deep fried. Dusted with cojita cheese, these ribs will be served over a bed of crisp kettle chips with a side of homemade elote dip and a lime wedge on the side.
Oh.
So I think the picture looks appetizing. I haven't been able to wrap my brain around whether or not you eat the whole thing.
You
No,
don't.
I don't think you eat the whole thing. Like ribs, you eat off the bone, just like you do essentially corn, anyways.
But the picture's
wait a minute,
little.
Isn't elote essentially corn on the cob with toppings?
Yes. But this happens
that's a bad
to be
description of it, but you get what I mean.
but this one is battered and fried.
Yeah.
Right.
and they're cut down into like quarters, I think, instead of like the whole corn on the cob. But what's confusing me is like if you're not looking close enough at the
So
picture,
they take the whole corn in the cob and like cut it into quarters. And then
Yeah.
right, like
you see the
they
corn.
have it and then they have each half.
Right.
And by that, for those that don't know, because if they're listening, we're talking about they cut it lengthwise.
Yes.
Right.
And then lengthwise, like they took each half and cut it. So yeah, like, but if you look at it quickly, you're kind of like, oh, it looks like potato wedges.
Yeah.
So
But-
that's why I was like, do you eat the whole thing? Like was the part that kind of stumbled.
It would be a bit much for me personally. I'm not. I it's a no. I'll just go ahead and say it. It's a no. The flavor concept is interesting to me. I think the idea of elote is great, but I'm with Gary on the execution.
Mhm.
Like this rib with most of it sort of like the corn, the cob portion kind of covered with the batter.
Yeah.
It's going to be a difficult like to gauge where the cob where the cob starts or ends and the corn is, and I'd rather not deal with like eating like cob. I don't think it's
I
bad for you, but it could be a little difficult to eat.
I think one of the problems is with this is the fact the corn will only be along one edge.
Right.
So, well, like on a rib, the meat is all over the rib.
Right.
This, the corn is only on part of it, and the rest is just the batter. Which the batter might be absolutely tasty and everything, but
Yeah.
I think that's going to give a little awkward thing. I would definitely put this in the try bucket. But it would definitely, this isn't something that I would actually go ahead and buy.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the side of like if someone else bought it, I'd be willing to try it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up critiquing it.
Yeah.
Because what I'm thinking is like I just recently had bought an elote style corn dip to have with chips. And I'm like, and that was pretty good. So if you could figure out how to make a really good dip and have fresh made chips to go with it, I might be much more interested in that. But there's nothing novel or different necessarily about that. So I don't know what you do with that.
Kroger has a really awesome Mexican street corn dip.
Yeah.
It's really good, but it's the sour cream base. Anyway.
Yeah. So, I don't think this one's a winner necessarily, but I could be impressed,
Right.
surprised.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
I
now
saw
we're
the
gonna.
name of this.
I know we're going. So we're going to indulgence. This one is called the Elvis Nachos. So it says bringing back a blast from the past in the form of the shareable sweet and salty boat full of love. The Elvis Nachos feature homemade peanut butter banana sauce over Slim's famous deep fried potato chips and topped with chopped peanuts, chopped banana chips, and crumbled bacon that you can't help falling in love with.
My problem here is the banana chips, and I would prefer not to have the peanuts. I'm just not a peanut fan. I like peanut butter, but so the peanut butter banana sauce sounds delicious. The chopped peanuts and the chopped banana chips, I'm just not a fan of banana chips.
Fair.
Yeah, everything else seems okay. This is the eh. And by the way, Slim's famous means the the place that serves this is Slim McGinn's Irish pub.
Right. They make potato chips fresh. That's what they're known for.
Yeah. So
Damon?
Yeah, I could probably. Yeah, they would probably like if I asked for without the peanuts or the banana chips. I'm sure they'd be willing to accommodate.
Right. I'm sure you could, and that's where I would. I would try this. I don't know if I would buy this. No, I would buy this. I would buy this.
I I would buy it if, with the caveat of if they would drop the peanuts and banana chips. One, I'm just not a fan of peanuts. Peanuts on here is perfectly understandable and things. Just banana chips, just
Yeah. Yeah. And that's fair. Like because I can only stand banana chips so much. Like there's a point where I'm like, okay, stop. Um, but this I can get behind it. I think I would buy it. I think this would definitely be shared. This would not be me eating this by myself. This would definitely be like 2 or 3 or 4 people trying this, eating this, because there's a lot of flavor going on here.
Mhm.
And
I think this is about a hand-sized boat. I don't think
yeah,
this is a really big boat at all. I think this is just a
well,
nice little hand boat.
but it did say shareable, so it's possible that it's bigger than a hand size.
Or it's just
Or
very
they-
rich.
Well, all right. So to the rich point, here's how I feel about it. Would I buy it? Probably. I would definitely try it. However, I would probably be one of those people, and I would watch as it's being made and see the ones that people are ordering in front of me. And based on this picture, I would be like, "Hey, can I get like double bacon?"
Yeah. I would go along with that, but minus the peanuts and
Because
banana chips.
I want more of that savory saltiness.
Mm-hmm.
Because because like, well, the famous deep fried potato chips add like a savory element, and there's like maybe some saltiness to it. Like, I just feel like that peanut butter banana sauce is going to probably be pretty sweet. And so I'm like, I feel like I need more. I feel like I need more like umami kind of balance. That's the only thing about it, that I might be that person who would be like, I'll pay extra if I can have like double bacon, on it, and then, see
Right.
how that goes. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
I'm also
Like
one who sometimes likes to try things the way they were originally intended for the most part. Um, just to be like, hey, how does this work? How does the balance work? And then if I go back, depending on how I like it, if I go back,
Right.
I would then do the more customizations where, like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't initially go with the double bacon. I would drop the peanuts and banana chips just because of own personal preferences. But I do like the idea of double bacon.
Yeah.
so what I'm
Bacon
hearing
makes
is
everything better.
Damon buys it as is. Jeff and I try his. Jeff gets his modified version, and I see whether or not I want to get my modified version.
There we go.
They
Compromise.
do say it's terrible, so
Yeah. That's why
Right.
I think it'll be, that's why I'm kind of leaning on like I would get this, because to me, again, this looked very rich,
mhm.
and I don't think I would get through a third of it
Right.
on my own.
Right. No, I think that's fair. It's outside the box.
Indeed.
It is intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of,
Oh, good Lord, what is
as
this?
we wrap up part part 1 of the State Fair series this year, this is funnel cake root beer battered cheese curds. And the description says exactly what they sound like. White cheddar cheese curds covered in funnel cake root beer batter, deep fried and topped with powdered sugar. Yum. So these are
Yeah.
squares
Mm-hmm.
of, like, the shape kind of throws me a little bit because curds are usually randomly shaped, just saying. So like they've done something that we have, like, apparently squares, bricks, whatever you want to call them, of curd, and then they dip them in the root beer flavored funnel cake batter, I think is what that is really saying.
It might not be root beer flavored. Root beer would be like like adding Coke to a cake batter. So it kind of give it that
Okay.
frothy, frothy. That's not the word I'm looking for. It would be more like
I want to
Okay.
say something so inappropriate right now. I'll save
No,
it for post show.
it would give it a root beer flavor, much that beer gives regular beer batter flavor.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So not like necessarily very straightforward,
Right.
or flavor
That's
forward of it. So it's a little more subtle, but still.
it'll be there. It'll be there. Especially
I'm gonna say initially here is a pass, with the caveat of I would try, but I don't think I'm gonna like this. Like it's unique enough that I would try it, but eh, cheese has very few places where sweet works with it, in my humble opinion.
that's fair.
Yeah, cheese curd is kind of, I think, the clincher for people on the like whether or not they're really willing to try it, because cheese
Right.
curd is tangy / salty.
Right.
So this is not cream cheese,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably buy this and try it and like, eat it. I think I would. The idea intrigued me. I was a little shocked, I will admit, because the root beer part of it, I was like, how is that working? And then I read it and I'm like, okay, it's in the batter, it's mixed with the batter, and it's
Right.
just all together. Okay, that makes sense. I agree with you, Jeff, that I'm not sure if the cheese curd and this flavor combination is gonna like mesh well, but I am tempted to give it a try. I am very tempted to give it a try
Yeah,
because I love
this is
funnel
like
cake.
this is like low end of try.
Yeah.
So
I
here's the
Go ahead.
upside, I think, for you, Damon. If you buy it, according to this image, there are 9 portions. Like there's these 9 nuggets, right, or cubes. So
Mhm.
in theory, you could divide it evenly amongst the 3 of us, and each of us could have 3 bites.
Mhm.
Although it sounds like Jeff's not willing to go that far. He might have 1 bite, like, and that's as far as he's gonna go with it.
And another thing that's a little bit against it, just a little, is I don't like funnel cake.
Ah,
Okay, that's fair.
So
That's fair.
that's another thing that's going to put it down for me is I'm thinking the batter's not going to be up to my taste
Yeah.
as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
The root beer I don't really care about. That's fine. It's still
So
funnel
you've
cake,
kinda
and that has it. And the funnel cake batter has a specific texture to it.
yes.
So it's probably more about texture than taste necessarily. I don't know. But because this isn't the normal funnel cake form of basically the reason why it's called funnel cake, where it's like just somebody just dripping batter into a fry thing. Because this is more like an actual cake or a cake sort of method of cooking it or shaping it. It might be a little bit different of a texture, so that, but it's still funnel cake batter, so
Yeah.
not necessarily gonna be. Yeah, it's low end of try. I will try it once. I just don't expect that I'm gonna like it.
That's fair.
I feel like I want to try it, but I also feel like I already have an idea how I want to change it. Well, because the cheese curd thing, I think is the like the hindrance. So I'm like, well, what if it was like cubes of cream cheese? And what if it came with a root beer dipping sauce?
Mm.
Like I'm trying to like make it a little bit sweeter, like not quite as like possibly savory, and like, you know, have fun with
Like
it. I don't know.
if the batter was more of like a donut batter, Because strangely enough, like donuts work a little bit better for with savory options,
Right.
in my opinion.
Well,
So
yeah.
I think that might work a little bit better in its favor, but still.
Yeah.
Especially the powdered sugar on top. I think the powdered sugar is because they're trying to go along the lines of funnel cake.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. No, that's not going to work. That would not be a good idea. No. I'm thinking because I'm going the root beer route, and I'm thinking like a root beer float, and I'm thinking ice cream.
Ooh.
But yeah.
I do
But
not like cake and ice cream together.
so there's a difference
I
between
like
this
them
kind of
like
cake.
having them together, but not like especially
Mixed.
on a plate. Don't mix
Yeah.
them.
I'm just thinking I'm going essentially I'm going the deep fried ice cream route in a way. Like
Right.
that's where I'm going with it. Like the root beer funnel cake batter covering like a vanilla ice cream cube fried, maybe not deep fried because that would be a little much, but like just kind of fried in a pan or whatever, or maybe even deep fried potentially. But anyway, that's me going like in that direction. I don't
Right.
know if it'll be a thing, but if anyone takes that idea, I would like my royalties, please. Thank you.
So the upside is that was just some of the foods that are out there of the 100 new ones that from the food fair. More to come. There will be a part 2. We'll be revisiting Wisconsin and trying some of the other items that they dish up. But that's a tasting of it. Some savory, some sweet. There's at least a beverage. You know, we've got some variety.
Yeah, it started off strong, I would say.
Yeah, I know. As we got, and I was like, "Oh, that's unfortunate." Like we kind of feel like we ended on a like not super impressed
But
thing.
if anything, the beer, cheese, and brats blood muffin. I want you in my belly. Oh. But that's the end of this part 1 of this. We will be back again. Oh, why am I looking up there? The camera's over there. But there were plenty of ways to contact us. Which of these foods did you like? Check out our website, find the links. You got the link to the Wisconsin State Fair. So even in the meantime, you can look at the Wisconsin State Fair website and maybe predict what we're going to be talking about next week. Huh? Plenty of ways to put in your predictions and let us know what you think of these foods. You can pop over to our website, cubsoutloud.com, where you'll find the links to all of these different delicious dishes. Mostly. They're not all delicious, but looky. But, you know, I don't want to yuck your yum. You might think it's more delicious than I do. Anyways, you can comment on our blog, shoot us an email. It comes out loud at gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail, flex your relevant at 361-COL Talk. That's 361-265-8255. Yeah, what are you going to do with this food if you were with me? You can also comment on our social media presence on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. That comes out loud in the appropriate places. URL. You can join our entourage chat bit.ly/telegram-col. You can find out when we're planning on recording these shows at bit.ly/calendar-col. You get various accoutrements from our Zazzle store at zazzle.com/cubsoutloud, such as Consent is My Foreplay. Just a regular Cubs Out Loud logo shirt. You see, you can get them in different styles, such as sleeveless. This is a little too big for me, but hey, it's comfy. That's all I care about. And we got new styles. Remember when I said whatever the Cubs say these days? Well, we got shirts about that. Maybe you are a Cub and want to say whatever the daddies say these days. Well, we got one. We got a whole bunch of ones. Check it out there. Also, we have a few of our specialist series. Currently, we have the hugging, the belly rubbing, and the kissing specialists. What type of specialist are you? You can find all that on our merch store at zelda.com/comesoutloud. Some of the designs were designed by Smashy. You can find more of his work at tpublic.com/user/SmashyTheBear. Please support him. He's been great for us. You can also become a patron at patreon.com/comesoutloud or send us a donation at paypal.me/comesoutloud. You can find us on all the podcasting platforms. You can find me anywhere on the internet as Boxset, Box Puppy, Box Cub, Box Cubby, Box something or other. Damon.
If you wish to get in touch with me, you can find me as TheaterCub79. That's TheaterCub79 on most related sites or on Facebook. Or you can find me as pup_umbra on Twitter. That Twitter is not safe for work. Or you can find me as pup_umbra79 on Blue Sky. That is also not safe for work. For the safe for work shit, you want to go to DMAGamer79 on TikTok and Twitter. Gary?
If you want to get in touch with me, you can pretty much find me anywhere online as GareBear73.
And with that, say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one, y'all.